Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to Last Minute Kickout. I am Pete Titans Creed Neverco, and joined as always are my cohorts in wrestling crime. One, Mr. Kevin, the Kevin Eva.
Hello.
And one, Mr. John Turbo Finley.
Hey there.
How are you gentlemen on this fine Tuesday evening where we're recording this?
I'm okay. I've just finished a stream where I was competent. I was competent at video games.
Who are you and what have you done with the real Kevin?
I don't know.
How are you, Turbo?
I'm fine. I was there channeling my inner completionist to the Kevin. I was giving him my energy.
So what you're telling me is that you need sleep.
Yes, I do need a lot of sleep because I was
We all
actually
need
up,
sleep.
I was up early this morning for the first morning shift at my work for the first time in a long time. So
he's had to do some work. That's why he's tired, guys. I just want to preface this episode with saying yes, there was no Super Showdown. It was a mixture of illnesses and then just not fixing up with a good time to record. Illness on my part. These guys didn't want to record without me, so that's why there was no Super Showdown episode. Wouldn't matter. It was shit. You see the internet. You probably follow all the big internet people. It was garbage. The less we talk about it, the better. But
yeah.
We are here to talk about what I thought was an actually decent pay-per-view, probably because we all went in with no expectations, and that was Stomping Ground 2019.
Can we just start by saying what a freaking stupid name this was?
Oh yes.
But Kevin, Mr. Kevin, we're here to.
So is that Baron Corbin?
We're here to kick names and take asses.
Oh, something like that. Oh god.
We need to make references to old tunes that people might be listening to. It's the whole Great Balls of Fire.
Balls of Fire. We've gone from Great Balls of Fire to these boots are made for walking.
Boots were made for walking.
Oh my god! They didn't even do like the art. They didn't really go into even the army aesthetic that they would normally do.
You know what? This show would have been great if what's his face? Oh, damn it! He's
Sergeant Slaughter.
No. The UK tag team champions. He's one half of them. Zach Gibson, I think. Is it Zach Gibson?
One of them.
All right, the guy.
Memorable.
Basically, the whole emphasis is that if you hate Gibson, shoes off. Basically, I think Vince saw a thing of that one time. It's like, you know what? That's great. Let's make it a logo.
It's an odd one, wasn't it?
Indeed. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting card. No, the card wasn't interesting. It was more that because we all went in with no expectations, thinking it was just going to be a crapshoot.
Most of the card was rematches.
Yeah, it was WrestleMania. It was
WrestleMania
3.0, since Super Showdown is the next biggest WrestleMania.
Yes.
But yeah,
Craplash.
Craplash. Don't you besmirch the name of Backlash with the
no! Didn't we lose Backlash? Haven't we lost Backlash again?
To this. Yeah.
We've lost Backlash again for this crap name.
That's because we've got to please the sponsors and not have a name that can be tied to something.
Look, Baron Corbin, wait your turn.
Oh, Mr. Kevin. Let's talk about
Yeah, that's definitely Baron Corbin.
Oh, Mr. Kevin. Let's talk about the pre-show. We had Tony Nese defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Mr. Drew Gulak and Mr. Akira Tozawa. I did not watch the pre-show because, quite frankly, I just finished a charity stream and I ran out of time to watch anything. So, how about you guys take it away for the pre-show?
Okay, so pre-show can be summarised as the New Day turned up and Big E spread his legs all over the place. Booker T went slightly mad because he was inside a steel cage at one point. Seriously, they interviewed him, but I honestly thought that he was going to snap.
These things, they're made of steel.
The question is, and the question is, But the real question is, over and over and over again. So we had one match, which we'll get to, and then we had some intrigue because Paul Heyman turned up.
Intrigue.
Paul Heyman turned up, and he came out of Baron Corbin's dressing room, I think.
Yes, this I did see. I literally missed the match. I've caught up with everything else.
No, well that happened during the main card.
Did it?
Yes.
It was that forgettable. I relegated it to the pre-show in my mind, but it was even more rubbish than normal. The pre-show. We only had the one match, but the good thing was it was a cracker.
Oh yeah,
from the 205 boys.
Yeah, the boys obviously keeping it strong, and it's like, and if they just keep giving us really good match rates, no matter how many are part of the thing.
It's almost when it's not a network show. Sorry, it's not a TV show, and it's a network show, and it's been given the reins of someone who's actually willing to let them wrestle to the full extent that they're able to. It's almost like that they can put on a show and actually be cruiserweights.
Yeah, but yeah, they had a point to prove. I think this time around.
Seriously, just waiting for the give cruiserweights a chance hashtag to start.
But yeah, all I can say, Tony needs to show some ridiculous strength throughout in terms of the lifts he was doing. Tozawa was his usual zippy self with offense from all over the place. You never knew when he was going to drop in unannounced from the sky,
literally
in the middle of a pinfall, and was like, where the hell's he come from? Never mind that they're apparently all dead now.
Who's that jumping out the sky?
The sky.
Toizoa. I don't know where I'm going with this one.
Akira O, here we go.
Akira O, here we go.
And you had Drugag's character change where he's all super intense. The Obsidian, as he's got a nickname now.
I don't get that. What's that?
He's as black could be. He's hard as diamond. He's unrelenting.
Don't tell Aleister Black that then. Jeez.
Yeah, he's still called Gulag. But yeah, it was. All we can say is really, really intense. Lots of nice counters. We had a title change because Gulag got the pin on Tozawa. Nice got taken out right at the end. But everybody looked strong. Everybody could have won that, and there would have been, I think, no problem about any of them winning it.
Yeah, and the crowd was hot for this. Normally, a crowd really pre-show kind of like match where there wouldn't be enough there, or there wasn't enough energy for that match. No, tonight or that night, they were hot. They were hot for this match, and that's what made it bear, I feel.
Okay.
Non-stop, really creative bits. Great advertisement for the Cruiserweight division.
Cool. Okay. Well, we move to the main card, which opened, shockingly enough, with Becky Lynch against Lacey Evans.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, probably for the best, but it wasn't that bad a match. I was interested. I watched it through.
It was okay. There was the sort of ongoing story, at least through the beginning, let's say half of the match, with Becky, because she's the veteran and she knows she has that advantage, which they kept banging on about on the commentary. And her sort of basically kind of schooling Lacey a little bit with things and making fun of her to the point where she sort of caught her foot on a kick and then basically just sort of paraded her around for a good 30 seconds or so before just dropping her on her face. I don't know, Pete, what did you think about this one? Because
I enjoyed it.
Like, where do you stand on Lacey Evans? Because
Well, you've got to remember. I look at Lacey Evans as someone that's just come into it because I haven't watched NXT or no. The only thing I know about her is that Vince is hot on her because she used to be in the army or something like.
Yeah, the Marines.
Yeah. So that's the only reason I know that Vince is hot on her. But I don't know. I don't think I get her character. What she's meant to be a lady, but then she's a sassy Southern Belle and everything else. And like I get the whole point of it's the man versus the woman and everything else, and that's what they're trying to push. But in terms of, and I'll probably talk about this later on at the end of the show, but I think Lacey should have won. No, sorry, Becky should have won, but by disqualification, and I think Lacey should have gone at her. Because that way it makes Lacey look strong rather than what they've just done recently where the last two things they've had it's always just been Becky going over. You know, it just makes Lacey look weak, which when we get to the end of it and we talk about what's to come and everything else and you know.
Well, you don't need her character to make her look weak or the storyline to make her look weak because frankly her work rate is not that great and that's making her look weak. Because by God, was she bad?
We mentioned this. We mentioned this before. She's been brought up 2 years too early.
Yeah.
From NXT,
and she's still not getting the hang of it. You know, she can't get herself positioned.
What's going to happen to Lacey is she's going to be the next Dana Brooke. She's going to disappear for a while. She's going to go and hone her craft.
I hope that's
privately.
the case.
But then you know, because look at Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke's come back. She's been better on the mic. You know, noticeably better in the ring.
Yeah.
She just doesn't get a chance to show anything.
I worry about Dana Brooke. I think she's going to be one of these that absolutely puts the work in to improve.
Oh, she'll be the next Natty.
And then as soon as she as soon as she's in that position where everyone's acknowledging it, she's going to be let go.
Well, I mean, at the moment she was injured in a recording of Main Event.
Busted open.
Yeah.
So that's obviously
we're not talking about radio.
Progression at any point at the moment.
Yeah.
But whether or not what will happen to her after that is another question. So yeah.
So it was a bit, but for you guys,
as a general viewer, I enjoyed the match.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It was a Becky Lynch match.
It was a Becky Lynch.
Crowd was super hot. Really happy to see her.
Yeah.
I thought it kind of dipped during the match, but
I'm the same.
But hey, people wanted to see Becky Lynch. They wanted to see Becky Lynch kick some ass, and she did.
Yeah. Also, that stunner by Lacey. Get a new finisher.
I'm just going to pretend that never happened, considering the next match.
Yeah, the next match being Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the New Day of Big E and Xavier Woods. My God, I really enjoyed this.
It was great.
This was so much fun to watch.
Oh yeah, this was definitely a palate cleanser after that last match. Really, for me anyway, because that granted, the start of it, it was a bit overpowered because Woods was getting hammered by all these signatures. But
I like the fact that it started with the surprise super kick, getting Big E out of it, and then just hammered on Xavier.
Yeah,
and it made
they had
sense.
The plan.
Yeah,
it made sense.
But it worked for the storyline going forward.
Yeah, but it also made sense in the fact that if that beatdown had happened towards the end of the match, then Xavier wouldn't just take the pin. Him kicking out at so early repeatedly is because it was the beginning of the match, and the only thing that's happened is he's still got the stamina.
Yeah,
you know, it makes
sense. Yeah, and as we've mentioned before on the show, it's the one thing that Xavier is he is the ridiculous punishment taker on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's his unofficial role.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you had the stuff from previous in terms of Kevin Owens and the New Day as the Big O, not to be confused with the other one on Z Long Island Stories,
or the show of the same name on Cartoon Network's.
Yeah, absolutely. But you had Kevin and Sammy just came out, and you just knew you were going to have fun.
Yeah.
Contrary to what I said in the last show, I was very happy to see Kevin Owens. time. It was great fun. Lots of hard hitting moves. Again, lots of psychology going on. Tag team psychology. It was a thing.
Yeah.
It was a really fun match.
Can't say anything bad about that.
It was a really fun match to watch.
Yeah, and the hot tag that...
why has Owens lost his pop-up powerbomb as the finisher and he's now using the stunner? I don't get it. I really don't understand.
Well, I mean, he did do it in the match.
No, yeah, he did do it. It's been the first time we've seen it for a long time. But why has he lost it as his finisher? It was unique. No one else really does a pop-up finisher.
I guess... I guess maybe they were trying to get him over as a face with the stunner as his finisher, and then when he went back heel, there was no point of him going back to using his pop-up powerbomb as a finisher again. So it's kind of like he's got two finishers technically. Maybe, I don't know.
Are they hoping by making him use the stunner will in some way he'll get more heat because he should be using the pop-up powerbomb? Are we supposed to be upset with him about that? Because if
the problem is that a lot of people are going to be liking him anyway.
Yeah. You know? People are going to cheer for Owens no matter what. So it's fine. People are going to cheer for Sammy no matter what.
They'll cheer another person that is supposed to be a heel no matter what. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that as well, because there's no freaking way they're ever going to boo him. Well, there's multiple heels actually. There's no way that people are going to boo.
No, overall the match, awesome match, fantastic. Probably one of the best of the night.
Really hot again, as you mentioned, really hot tag as well. Because it moving Big E throughout the match from oh yes, it is jovial Big E to okay, he's going to murder you now.
Yeah. Oh, and also tried to murder himself with his knives again.
Why is he continuing to do the suicide dive? Please, you've just come back. You've literally just come back. Stop. Just stop. I mean, it looks stupidly impressive, but stop.
From one hot match to the next one, Samoa Joe versus Ricochet, which I think we all thought was going to be match of the night, to be honest, going into it if they got taken off the chains, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to watch.
It was really good. Didn't have a very auspicious start as Ricochet botched his entrance.
Yeah, a little bit of a slip up there, but he was able to recover by going up the rope and then doing a backflip. Maybe, like, I'm still Ricochet.
Maybe just like the rest of us, he's still not expecting that stupid bullet sound at the beginning.
Don't keep reminding me, because every time I hear it, every time it's just ridiculous. Plus, they really need to work on the video presentation of this, because we could see him like standing in front of the fog machine and whatnot, and it just looks so bad. Yeah, it's like try to at least pan the camera a little bit more down.
I don't get what is he doing?
I don't know.
He's calling to them. Actually, no. He's calling down for.
It's the dove from above.
No.
So I mean,
no. He's calling Mr. Kennedy's mic down. It's just it's not coming down.
So the one thing I did notice in this match is that Ricochet did a code breaker and a lion salt.
Yes, which we're not allowed to call those by those names anymore, as it's being reported.
He did a code breaker and a lion salt.
He did. But in fairness,
are they just trying to fucking shout at Jericho?
No, but I mean, in terms of the springboard moonsault, known colloquially as the lion salt, that was in his bag of tricks anyway.
I was gonna say, he's done so many kind of like of those moves in the indies and whatnot. It's part of his repertoire.
The double knees / reverse lung blower, aka code breaker. That's slightly more deliberate, I feel. Especially with them deliberately saying, we're not calling it the code breaker anymore. When anytime anywhere else it's still called code breaker.
I'm waiting for them to rename it something dumb to go with Ricochet.
Well, if the Revival can do a tag team version of the move and they call it the Shatter Machine, then why can't they just call it the face smasher or something?
Dream Crusher.
it's going to be something really dumb that is a vague reference to an old Jericho gimmick. That's what they'll do, because it's the level of Vince petty.
Yeah.
That they'd go to.
I just want Vince to go do the XFL and leave WWE, but you can't because you're a control freak.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ricochet did the codebreaker in the 6:30. Wins the US title.
Yeah, I was surprised. I would have thought that Joe would keep the title a little bit longer, but I guess this was the plan all along. Had Ray not been injured, he would have still been champion during this time and whatnot. But
we've missed out. That means we've missed out on Ray versus Ricochet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would have. I don't know. Like, part of me has really enjoyed the match. It's nice to see that they're going to push Ricochet in a singles run this early, which is really good. Part of me would have preferred to see Joe go on a monster demolition derby, but I get the feeling
even losing, he didn't look weak during it. My God, as usual, because it's Samoa freaking Joe, he just looks like he. Can we stop? Before we do anything further, can we just talk about that thing where he basically made Ricochet do a 540? In the air.
Oh, he just flipping over.
Flipped him, not once.
It looked a bit
brutal. 1.5 times.
Yeah.
It looked really brutal.
Yeah, it looked like I was astonished that Joe wasn't actually just standing with his severed leg afterwards. I am honest to goodness never seen anything like that in the ring, and it's just because you've got the power of Joe and the
agility of
athleticism, of Ricochet. It just like everyone that stopped the crowd. Stop the commentary as well, because they were just like, jeez.
But Ricochet wins, and then after the match, he's congratulated backstage by some NXT call-ups. Okay, so Rollins, Heavy Machinery, Triple H, but also Charlotte Flair.
What? So yes, babyface Charlotte Flair, everybody.
Yeah. Did we mention Charlotte Flair used to be on NXT? You should be cheering Charlotte Flair. We're still going to insist on you cheering Charlotte Flair. We've not learned anything.
No.
But yeah, they did a very nice segue where Heavy Machinery went out. I mean, it was them versus...
Ricky! What's up, Ricky?
The new Daniel Bryan and Rowan, because... he is subject to.
Oh, come on! I love Otis. He's amazing. He was actually very good in this match as well. Being the strong man against Rowan.
The problem is, John, is that when people talk about SmackDown tag teams, they don't talk about Heavy Machinery.
Well, that's the problem, because they haven't been given much to work on the program.
It's a bit like people not mentioning the Authors of Pain on whatever the hell brand they're on. Do you know what brand they're on?
It's like Vince calls all these tag teams up, and yet they can't establish them correctly.
No, they're on SmackDown at the moment, actually.
Are they on SmackDown at the moment?
Yeah, they're on SmackDown.
Are we sure about that?
Yeah.
Do we care? I don't think we have any brands here anymore because of this stupid.
Whenever I think of the Authors of Pain, the only memory I ever have of them is them walking out on Paul Ellering right when they've been called up, and me being really upset. I mean, it was due to Paul Ellering not wanting to go on the road again,
which was bullshit.
As opposed, was it bullshit?
Yes.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
Because that's not the case. Ellerling would have loved to be on the road with the boys, but management told him no.
That's Vince. That's just 100% Vince, isn't it? Because there's no way on earth Trips would have made that decision.
Yeah.
Oh God, we could have actually had them Authors of Pain with the proper guidance and ins and outs and teaching the old psychology of stuff. Could you imagine then if we'd have actually had the Revival versus Authors of Pain report with properly shaped on the road by Paul Ellering?
Would have been fun. Would have been good.
Would have
been great.
Thanks, Vince.
But yeah, John, you seem to enjoy what Heavy Machinery done. So why don't you take us through this
Yeah,
match quickly?
they were going well with it. I mean, it was mainly Otis and Rowan getting the good amount of limelight with their heavy interaction, I suppose. Otis being kind of like Otis being the star of this match, I feel. With not only working with Rowan but also with Daniel Bryan as well, being able to kind of like bring back that old school kind of like 80s kind of like psychology of like hulking up through Daniel Bryan's yes kicks. And before we continue, it's kind of disappointing how this was. We were in Bizarro World because apparently this pay-per-view was in Washington.
Which is Daniel's
Guess who's
hometown.
in the same state?
Home state, hometown, or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, home state of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, so they're going to cheer.
He was over like Rover.
Of course.
And he's the heel.
We recycle.
Drive a Prius. Yeah. They were totally behind Daniel Bryan because they love him. They couldn't boo him. And they were booing Heavy Machinery, who were supposed to be the faces in this match.
I don't know why anybody pays attention to the fans in terms of who they cheer for anymore.
Well, it's a problem for me. It's a problem for me because I have to listen to it.
May I make a suggestion then?
Put on mute.
Be less smarky.
You know I can't do that.
Dear Mr. Dunn. Yes, hello. I would like to complain about you not muting the crowd.
There we go.
But no, overall, the work rate was actually good. I actually liked the work rate, and Otis especially. He was like, I loved his work in the ring with both Rowan.
I thought it was a good match. I thought it was a good match to watch.
It was a good match, and I'm just disappointed that of the crowds being on the reverse. But I wasn't expecting the Heavy Machinery to win. I thought Daniel Bryan and Rowan were going to be keeping the titles and keep going to try to build the tag.
I think it's because more often than not the US Championship was a feel-good win. We knew there weren't going to be many championship changes.
Oh yeah,
and the US.
Well, you only had the two.
The cruiserweight as well. Yeah, it was a good match. I thought. Into what I thought was the last good match of the evening. Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Raw's Alexa Bliss for whatever goddamn reason. That made sense.
Wild cards!
Yes. The storyline, like, it really feels like, compared to when we saw Bayley versus Alexa previously with the kendo stick on a pole match where Bayley had no idea how to use a kendo stick, it really feels like Bayley's definitely come a long way. It almost felt like in this match that there was nearly a double turn try. It really felt like they were going to try and make Bayley heel and push Alexa face.
No, I think it was more of a case with Nikki Cross and Alexa almost, because the tease of dissension there was more essential than Bayley turning on. She was obviously at the end of the match. It kind of looked like it, but I didn't feel like it was going to be that case.
I don't know.
We were missing a piece of that puzzle because we didn't really 100% see what happened. And for some reason, they didn't really show it on the replay either.
Yeah.
They didn't show. We didn't see if Alexa pulled Nikki or Nikki pushed Alexa.
Well, I was going to say, I think how it looked in my eyes is Alexa just stepping away, rather than being pushed away by Nikki.
But it was but the commentary sort of indicate were a bit muddled too. And it was sort of even suggested that Bayley aimed for Nikki, but we had nothing to go on.
Yeah.
And as a result, it was all a bit strange there. You did have obviously the crowd cheering for Alexa, who's back following the long time out with 2 concussions suffered thanks to takedowns from Ronda Rousey. We eventually found out. Who's not blamed for it at all, but it was their fault. So
Yeah, so
you know.
But yeah, I think this was the last of the good matches on
Yeah.
tonight's card.
It was
It just felt
intense.
like everything after this just slowed right down.
especially probably one match. Well, actually, the last two matches of the night.
What? Yeah, one of which was deliberate, and the other one just sort of went on forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one was a deliberate split, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in intense, Bailey retains. This sort of version of Bailey that doesn't give a damn as much as she used to in terms of, and is not going to wait around for anybody to cock about with her. She's going to get straight in there.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Good to see Alexa back. Got a good crowd reaction. Got too good a crowd reaction, in fact. But Alexa's one of those people who the audience will cheer regardless of whether she is.
She's good. I enjoy her as a champion and as a person in general.
I don't want her in the title picture. Let her feud with Charlotte over who's eternally number one contender for any belt ever.
Yeah.
It's just send them away. And just
I hope Nikki Cross can get some title picture scene.
Nikki needs. Hopefully this goes into Nikki and maybe a freeway for it.
Maybe.
Then spinning off into Alexa Nikki.
Let's move on to Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, accompanied by the best in the world, Shane McMahon. Yeah, this was a thing.
I hate this.
You
can't let Drew look strong at all.
I mean,
They
did at the end of Super Showdown because one Claymore just ended Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but that was not tonight.
Really effective. So naturally.
Also, I like to refer Roman Reigns as Green Dog now because of his attire for tonight or that night.
Green Dog.
It's like because his.
I'm waiting for the red one so we can just start calling him Clifford.
Clifford, yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Why did Michael Cole keep yelling out "Big Dog Strong" or whatever he was? He was yelling. Stop! Yeah.
Big Dog Strong.
Big Dog. He's Big Dog Strong. What is he? What is he? A type of fucking toilet roll?
Yeah.
Is he the Andrex puppy? Is this what it turns out to be?
The big problem is that anyone who's super smarky knows that the loss at Super Showdown that Reigns suffered to McMahon was the first pinfall loss that he'd had since he's
been back.
Yeah, and it's just like to Shane McMahon of all people. So they're not going to make him look weak after that, even still, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just bizarre. They'll get to a point where Drew is pretty much over as it is anyway. Like
the man is over to a certain point.
Drew is give the man a mic in the run up to a match, and he'll sell it for you.
Yeah, exactly. And he can.
The build up to this was great. Even Drew was doing a proper. We've mentioned old school a couple of times tonight, but proper old school things. He was making, Reigns, feel, as a really strong thing. And the one of the things he's saying, well, since I've been back, the one person who's really properly challenged me and has given me a big ass kicking is Roman Reigns, and I respect him for that. But I'm gonna come after you. I'm going to put you back on the shelf. You're gonna have to turn up at your home.
They could make it very Rocky 4, really, and just have him and just make Drew as like Carl Drogo and be like, I must break you.
Well, he was a little bit. He promised that he would beat
him down so badly.
Reigns, so bad his own children wouldn't recognize him and would be scared of him.
Yeah,
that is some proper promoing.
It's just a shame. It's just a shame that the build to the match and then the match just doesn't. And I'm not sure if it's if it's a Reigns thing or...
It is a Reigns thing, because it's basically we're beating down Reigns for a good majority of the match, and then he comes back.
Yeah, it's a standard Roman Reigns thing, and I mean, I think it's evident of the fact that he's been billed to be the next John Cena. It's exactly what happened with Cena. It's unfortunate, but...
I think it wasn't for Shane as well. If you actually just went, we've got this guy, he's a tough bastard. And we've got this guy, and he's a tough bastard, and he's Scottish. And they want to beat the shit out of each other. They are completely capable of beating the shit out of each other. Let's go!
Yep.
Honestly, that's all you need. Because those two, if you literally just let them go, but they're shackled by this McMahon nonsense.
Absolutely. I want to move on to the penultimate match of the evening. A match which was slow, but it's meant to be slow.
Yeah.
It's a cage match between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And
it was a cagey cage match.
The problem is that while we know Ziggler has the ability to be a world champion, because he's so in and out of the company right now, he's not a threat.
No, that's the thing. It's like his presence on the program is, well, it's borderline part-time, so you can't really kind of like feel the threat of him actually taking the title from Kofi in this storyline. And even though the match was intense at points, it just wasn't going well. Until the very end, where the last spot was like the most notable thing. That was the only notable thing that I cared, that I actually was, impressed with.
That's because it's a different way to end the match.
Indeed, because we've seen.
It's one of those things that we've always asked. Why don't you just fling yourself out the cage?
Yeah.
You just needed someone agile enough to do it, and there you go. You had Kofi.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't think there's much to say about this match, unfortunately.
No, I mean at least we know that there is no rope breaks in cage matches.
Oh yeah, they made a big point to try and correct all the mess from
the last cage match with Shane McMahon and Miz.
So let's talk about the main event. Seth Rollins defending the Universal Championship against Baron Corbin, who revealed his special guest referee in a sign of logical WWE writing, I might add. His special guest referee is Lacey Evans.
Because naturally, as a face, he's not going to beat up the woman with the chair.
That's exactly it. But the thing is that the minute that Lacey Evans came out, I already saw the writing on the wall being, well, we know Baron Corbin's not going to win this, and it's going to lead to a mixed tag team match, whether it's on Raw the next day or it's at whatever Extreme Rules or something like that, of Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans versus Seth and Becky.
And it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With both titles on the line.
Again, my big problem with that direction where they want to go is both Baron Corbin, especially after this match, holy hell, Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans just look weak. It's not even like one of them comes across as strong and they're holding the other one up, It's
also weak and stupid, because Lacey Evans periodically through the match was going, oh, changing the rules. This is no countouts. Oh, I'm changing the rules. Now it's no DQ.
Which was the dumbest damn thing she could have done.
The no DQ thing was dumb. Yeah, absolutely. But it was just like...
even if Becky hadn't come out then, what's Drew got... What's Seth got to be afraid of?
Yeah, I know. He could just turn around and use the chair.
Yeah.
Or do a low blow, like what Lacey did to Seth.
Okay, so you're the referee then. And okay, well, guess what? I can now.
It's just... Lacey's lost 2 pay-per-views in a row. Baron's lost 2 pay-per-views in a row. And they expect that the both of them together are going to come away in a winner-take-all mixed tag team match and win it. You can't get the job done individually, which is what I'm saying. Like, if they'd at least looked strong. You know, Baron nearly came off a little bit strong in Super Showdown because he was quite dominant in that match. But Lacey just hasn't come across strong in either of the matches, which is why. And I'll flip back to what I was saying. Is I've got a little mite that's flying in front of me. Stupid hot weather we've got in Britain at the moment. If she had at least been disqualified because she'd like taken it too far or something like that, and just showed that she could be dominant against Becky Lynch, it would be more credible in the overall storyline. But they're just not. They're not strong at all. Like, Baron Corbin nearly lost to count out. Baron Corbin nearly I don't know. He nearly got pinned several times as well. He just doesn't come across as strong.
He was almost cartoonish in his buffoonery.
Maybe he likes it.
There is no way, if you stack the deck to that point, it's either got to be something utterly radical that then the face wins, or alternatively, the heel wins. Or is in a position whereby, there is no way they can lose. But in a situation where, they've stacked the deck so much there's no way they can lose, everybody knew he was going to lose.
This is the problem. Especially, and I think a couple of the big wrestling YouTubers have put it well. Like, if you look back a couple of months when the McMahons they blamed all of the bad programming on Baron Corbin, and yet it's hard to believe that Baron Corbin's curried favour enough to be put into a world championship scene. It's bizarre.
Why is he still dressed like the commissioner thing that he or the constable? Why still dressed like that?
Like, I don't know.
Just
maybe because they don't want him in a t-shirt, I guess. It's the standard heel thing, though, isn't it?
They don't want him shirtless. They don't want to show anything. Cover him up as a...
Look at peak 2000s. Yeah, if you were a heel, you wore some kind of suit. If you were in the main event thing, Triple H did it. Big Show
Jericho
did it. You know, JBL was perennially in a suit.
Yeah, it's entirely the fault of Evolution and Jericho.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but those are like proper suits, not dress suits.
Yeah, but they even tried to get Kevin Owens in a suit when he was champion as well, remember?
Yeah, but they tried to put Mick Foley in a suit when he was champion of the heel, so it's...
Yeah, it's so bizarre, and I think that's got something to do with it, but I don't know. Like, I'm not internal, I just watch the content for what it is, and it just feels like... The big problem with this pay-per-view that I've got, and the first half of it, the first 4 matches were really good. They were really good. It's just the last 3 just felt slow. And then I look at it and I'm like, what's the first 4 matches got something to do with anything? I tried to look at it that way. I was just like, Becky Lynch, NXT, okay. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, NXT, okay. Joe Ricochet, NXT, and it's just even Heavy Machinery, NXT kind of stuff, and you got Bayley and Alexa and Nikki Cross, NXT kind of pushing them. They've got that mental work rate, and then you hit Reigns, who wasn't really like he was there.
Yeah, it basically all of the people in the first 4 matches was NXT after Arrival, after NXT Arrival. That was like the genesis of NXT. Whilst everyone in the last 3 was before NXT Arrival, which was
Corbin. Corbin was after Arrival, wasn't he?
Okay, Corbin was after Arrival. He's the only exception to the rule.
But then, you know what? I can't even say that it could have been just as bad with somebody else in the same position. I mean, why are we not seeing Seth versus what's his name? Braun Strowman.
Because he's stuck in a stupid angle with
Braun's in the doghouse still.
Yeah, with bloody Lashley. Which is going nowhere on TV.
But Braun, like, if we could drop the I'm a big guy and I can get staggered. If we can just drop that, I think a Braun versus Rollins match could be really interesting to watch.
That would be great because Braun does have some athleticism to his right. He's almost like WCW Big Show level, like the Giants level of kind of like
Good
work
example.
rate. You can do bigger stuff other than just being the.
We are getting ever closer to post NXT arrival main card shows, and I think once the training wheels get taken off, and it's only going to happen once Vince moves on, and it's unfortunate. Once the training wheels get taken off and the limiters of what these guys can say and can do in the ring, and we actually get a wrestling show that's would be on par with AEW's All Out, Double or Nothing. Sorry,
Double or Nothing. Yeah.
And you get a show that's on par with that, and because I quite think if we allowed them to do what they able to do, take away some of these more dangerous moves because they've been classified as such, and allow them a little bit more freedom on the mic, as long as they obviously don't say the dumb things, the really stupid dumb things. Fucking, I think you could get a better thing, and I think we're getting there slowly, and I think the first half of the card proves that. It's just the second half it's just brought down because they're still relying on the guys they've pushed to be their main event slots, which are just not there.
So with that said, Pete, what are you gonna give this pay-per-view?
It's so annoying because of the last 3 matches. It really is. I even enjoyed Kofi versus Ziggler to an extent, but it just didn't keep my attention. If those last 3 matches were good, I'd say this is a solid 7 to an 8. But because the first half of the card was good, and that was it, I'm just going to go with a 5.
Kev?
Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, cruiserweight match, awesome. Tag team match, awesome. Joe Ricochet, really enjoyed it. I can kind of see a little bit what people have against some of what Ricochet does when they say he's kind of a bit rehearsed. But hey, at least the upshot is we've now got Joe moving on to bothering Kofi.
Yes.
Which is good. I'm well up for that. If Joe losing that title means that Joe will go after.
Well, it
the
also
mains
means that
as
we
well.
get AJ versus Ricochet as well, which has.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to all the stuff that's
All
on the way after, since we've just
TNA and Indies to the rescue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The SmackDown tag team match, for me. Bayley versus Alexa was only okay. Drew Roman, I kind of felt sorry for both of them, to be honest. Kofi Dolph I actually really enjoyed because it was slow and it was different and it was very methodical and trying to sort of grind down, and there was kind of lots of mat-based stuff as well. It was a very different cage match, and I kind of enjoyed it for that. Seth Corbin was just... It was just a question of how frizzy we can make Rollins' hair. That was basically the only thing I was most interested in for the entire match. It was like, how big is this hair going to get by the end?
Is it going to be Kane level of frizzness?
Yeah, is it going to be like ridiculous? Is it going to just develop into a giant afro with a stupid laugh? But I couldn't care. I'm going to say a 7.5. It was an enjoyable enough show, but in the end, I could have gone without batting an eyelid. Most of it, but at the same time, there was a heck of a lot I did enjoy about it. So there we go.
Turbo?
Take what Kev said, switch a couple of things around. I actually like both tag matches very much. Didn't like the cage match. The cage match was a little more forgettable for me, except for the end. And I did like the majority, like UP. I liked those first 4 matches for the night, and it's just the last 3 was very very bad. But I'm gonna be a little more lenient, be more favorable of the work rate in the matches beforehand than yourself, and that's why I'm gonna give this a 7, a solid 7, at least. for those matches. I think that's
It's
my
cool.
stay on that.
There's goals all around, I think, though.
We all have our kind of like tastes, and of course, we've had this before in previous episodes. You've got your taste, I got my taste. We all have our different tastes,
absolutely.
and even our viewers will probably.
It was an okay pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we can all rest assured and say together it was not a great pay-per-view by any stretch. And good was sort of.
But we'd like to hear what your thoughts are, viewership. If you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of Stomping Grounds. Otherwise, you can reach us on Twitter. John, where can they find you on the social media, my dude?
Of course, you can find me on social media, either on Twitter or Instagram at TurboXLR, all in capitals. And if you want to see some video gaming streaming from myself, I do a series of streams on the Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday nights at 7 p.m. UK time over on www.twitch.tv/TurboDriveLive.
Mr. Kevin.
For Last Minute Continue, it's just Last Minute Continue for pretty much all the platforms with the exception of Twitter, which is Last Min Continue. You can also follow me personally on Twitter at the Kevin Eva. Also, for all three of us and for Last Minute Kicker as a whole, please do follow us on Twitter. We are at Faces in Peril. And one of these days, we will actually get that hot tag.
That's it. You can find me on the Twitters on my main account at Titans Creed. You can find me on my gaming specific one at Gaming Phoenix. You can find me on Twitch 5 days a week, minimum. You can find me on there 5 days a week at twitch.tv/Project Phoenix Productions, or you can find my personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/Project Phoenix Productions. Thank you very much for watching. Are we going to be doing a show on Fighter Fest, boys?
I would say it would be worth it.
I agree. It'd be nice to see stage 2 or stage 3 maybe of AEW.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you an episode on Fighter Fest, which I think is next week.
Well, it's this Saturday coming, so we'll have an episode out for you next week, hopefully.
And then after that, we've got Extreme Rules.
Well, at least we've got a break between Fighter Fest and Extreme Rules, to be fair. But yes, that seems to be the availability for. Thank you very much for watching and or listening. If you've been watching us on the podcast feeds and or YouTube. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you for the next episode of Last Minute Kickout.